Let's check up. Let's check up. Pull up a chair for the Midweek Checkup now.
Welcome to the Midweek Checkup. My name is Lindsey Blair, and I'm here with Bobby Gilles. This past Sunday, Pastor Jonah Sage preached the gospel of God's grace from Genesis 2, verses 7 through 8. He challenged us to receive the gift of our sacred bodies as we wait for our eternal resurrection bodies. Many of us struggle to view our bodies as sacred. I really appreciated that Pastor Jonah pointed out that some of us tend to ignore our bodies and push our bodies beyond their limitations by not eating well, sleeping poorly, and just living with a lack of awareness of what our bodies need. Others of us tend to obsess about our bodies, counting every calorie, refusing to miss a workout, or perhaps pursuing every procedure and treatment that will keep us looking young because we don't want to embrace aging. I'm curious how we would steer our bodies differently if we embraced our bodies as a sacred gift. Bobby, before we recap the sermon, do you have any general thoughts?
But Jonah read 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 8, which talks about Jesus suffering physical death. He said, there is no salvation, no forgiveness of sins apart from the physical death of Jesus. The body is not only a good gift from God, it is the instrument of God's redemption. Now, for anyone who missed the sermon or needs help remembering, let's do a quick recap.
For thousands of years in every culture, humans have struggled with what to do about our bodies. Bodies that get sick, that have aches and pains, that eventually wither and die. Plato was one of the first to argue physical stuff is bad. How do you reconcile the problems we have with our bodies or our earth? Call it bad. He argued the material was not so valuable and the immaterial, the spiritual, was actually the good stuff. This way of seeing the world is known as dualism. Touch is bad. Can't touch it, it's good. Thomas Aquinas was deeply influenced by Plato and his dualism. So for the last 500 years or so, these thoughts have influenced the church. What do we do with these bad bodies? Throw them away and float in the clouds.
This is not God's idea. He made our bodies breathtaking in their complexity and beauty. Genesis does not say God created a spirit and was trying to figure out what to do with it. He made a body and breathed life into it. We do not simply have bodies, we are bodies. We exist, body and soul, and we are bound by physical space. This is part of God's good design. If we refuse to accept our limitations, we will never experience the goodness of the bodies God has given to us. And what's more, we will miss out on the joy of hope God gives to our bodies.
How can we live with joy amidst our limitations? We have to begin by seeing what God says about our bodies. This is seen most clearly in the incarnation of Jesus Christ. God came and made his home among us in a body. The incarnation of Jesus Christ is a stunning declaration of the goodness of the human body. Matthew 4:2, Mark 11:12, and others tell us Jesus was hungry. John 4:6 tells us that Jesus got tired after a day of walking. John 19:28 tells us Jesus was thirsty. Jesus' human body is glorious, and that glorious body had limitations because that glorious body was human, and that human body is central to God's cosmic plan of redemption.
Jesus died physically. And just as the Spirit brought about life in Genesis, so too the Spirit raises Christ from the dead physically. After the resurrection, people touch Jesus, talk to Jesus, see him physically. They eat with Jesus and hear the voice of Jesus. When we get to heaven, we will not be greeted by floating ghosts. We will be greeted by the risen Christ in all of his glory. And what's more still, we will greet him in resurrected bodies.
So, as a church, how can we respond to this? Let's be a people who learn to receive our bodies with gratitude. Spend some time in the next few days asking yourself, what does my body need? Maybe you need a nap. Maybe you need good food. Maybe you need to start moving. Through these physical bodies, we experience all of life. And through the physical body of Jesus Christ, we can once again experience fellowship with our good God who designed our sacred bodies.
Amen. And this coming Sunday, we'll learn about the sacred union between woman and man that God created in Genesis and how it reveals the way he wants to know us in a participatory, experiential, intimate way. Join us and bring a friend.